Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Cube Outside the Box. We're going to talk about Cube and it's going to get weird. My name is JJ and I'm here with another sample draft. This week we're drafting a cube that answers the question, what would happen if we took out the very best color, the strongest color in Magic, and the very worst color in Magic? Well, we'd be left behind with the Jund Cube by Riku. The Jund Cube is a black, red, green cube that takes out every single thing that has anything to do with white or blue. Even cards that reference other white cards or say something like protection from blue don't belong in the cube. So that means that our monocolor and guild sections are quite deep. Our lands are a little bit expanded, and we even have room for some actual Jund cards. Now, to be a little bit more clear, this cube was designed not to be a Jund cube in the sense that it wasn't designed around being as Jundy as possible. It's actually more like a 720 cube where everything that has to do with white or blue has been removed completely. So that does mean that we are looking at a fair bit of mid-range, but we also have access to a number of the traditional archetypes. Let's take a deeper look. So beyond the typical aggro and mid-range options that Jund is usually good at, there is a little bit of a Jund control option, although it's mostly just removal based, so it isn't as great at combating the sort of persistent, hard to deal with creatures that Jund is also particularly good at. There is a Storm package, although it can be hard to put together, and the payoffs are not as good as they could be in other cubes because of the missing blue. There's a definite aristocrat theme, and I think this is actually really easy to just have as incidental value on top of a normal mid-range or other type of deck, like maybe a ramp deck. There's a ramp deck, of course. There are plenty of dorks, lots of cheap ramp options like Rampant Growth, and then plenty of big fatties in a variety of color combinations that you can drop to end the game. There's a Wildfire package, including the eponymous Wildfire card, Burning, and a number of mana rocks, although I will say that the mana rocks in here might not be up to the job of supporting this deck completely. A lot of them are cheap, but don't produce mana easily. They have other costs to them. So that's a concern I have about drafting this archetype. Mid-range is no joke in this cube. Of course, there are plenty of creatures that generate value turn after turn after turn, or are incredibly hard to get rid of, where point removal just isn't going to do the trick. There's a mono red option, which is actually pretty neat because going monocolor can mean that you can eschew taking lands and really slide in under your opponents, both in the draft and in matchups. Now, it's a little bit of a glass cannon, but it's a super fun archetype, and there's a number of cards that support it. Reanimator's actually weird in this cube because Reanimator is so good in these colors and there are not the typical colors that would combat Reanimator. It's actually been dumbed down a lot, so it's been weakened intentionally. It can be fun to try to put together, but it can also be very fragile and frustrating if you don't get the right cards in the draft or in your draws. All right, but you didn't fucking come here to hear me prattle on about the cube. Let's get into a draft. I'm going to zoom in on these a bit. This looks like a pretty nice open. Embercleave and Sarkhan definitely tempt me a little bit into getting into mono red. We have a couple of good ramp options here, so we could try that. Now, again, I will say that mid-range is definitely a way to go, and we should not, I've learned over a number of drafts, we should not overvalue removal. I'm also tempted to grab Garruk. Do you say Garruk or Garruk? Vote in the comments below. Getting a 3/3 is pretty... So he's not much of a payoff. I'm also tempted to just grab Embercleave and see if we can go wide. Last time I did this, I kind of got into a Super Friends thing, and then Grave Titan's also just super Jundy, again, like lots of value. So I have not drafted this yet, so let's grab Grave Titan and see where we go. Well, here's Grave Titan's younger, not as cool little brother. I don't hate getting into Blood Artist. That's a cool thing, and then Judith also supports that. I think if I have to choose one, I want Judith, even though the Blood Artist has the life gain, just because of the Anthem effect. The only other thing that would tempt me would be Nissa, but I don't think that's where we started. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get some of this Aristocrat stuff going. I kind of fell into that last time I drafted this by accident, but I want to see if we can really push that. I don't see anything that makes me say I have to take it over a land. Domri's fun. Vraska's Contempt is okay for removal. This is a sack effect. Oh no, this one isn't. Sorry, this is 2 life. I was thinking the other one. Let's go ahead and grab the Tomb. Steve goes nicely because of the sacrifice effect. Rift Bolt is powerful, but I think better in mono red. Yeah, Henny's also a sack outlet, but I think I like the idea of being able to both fix and possibly fix and ramp, rather. Yep, fix and ramp here. The only other thing would be getting Plow Under and just be a douche and play that. But let's go ahead and grab Steve. I like that here. Mayhem Devil is another Aristocrats card for sure, so I think we want to grab that. Bloodbraid Elf is cute. Terminate is good removal, but that will come around again. Sign in Blood, we could get some draw. There's not a lot of good draw in here because we're missing the blue. I also like, well, here we have a sack outlet, so I think we're going to grab that. Makes the most sense. Olivia Valdarin does not sack, but we could really lock ourselves into Rakdos here. We could also grab the Savage Land. Having a flying 3/3 is solid as well. I really like Olivia Valdarin for her ability to ping off X1s, like that Blood Artist we saw earlier. But I'm leaning towards Trophy just for the unconditional removal. We haven't grabbed any removal yet, and again, I don't want to overvalue it, but we are going to need it. This card is just bonkers powerful. Just the ability to do 3 in any combination of those is pretty awesome. And then Atarka's Command is flexible, of course, having, I mean, just so many options. I'm not really worried about the life gain. The Anthem might be okay. The land, I think I like Wretched, or is there something else, some other way we can sack? This will do permanence. So actually Reclaimer might be okay because this will let us sack lands. And then it'll eventually become a 3/4. I don't hate that. Maybe we just grab that, and then again we have some green kind of fixing-y options early on. Let's see. 4 or fewer lands. Search one up, or you can sack a land to cycle it? That is super weird. I was not familiar with that card. Endling's also just another Ling, which is usually pretty good. I guess we could grab Edge of Autumn. That lets us sack a permanent? I don't love that. I don't think we're going to play that, but we'll grab it. Some Rummaging might be okay, and some Burn might be okay, because we won't mind knocking off our own creatures, because we're going to want to do that anyway to get triggers. So that might be okay. We can grab Domri too. This is another Anthem. So between this and Judith, we could just have +2/+0 in theory. That might be an easy cut. We may not go there. I'll definitely take Abrupt Decay. That normally would not wheel. Huntmaster would be all right. This is, I really hate those no spells ones because I want to cast spells. That's like what I want to do. But I mean, I get why they work. It's just I don't love them. I'll grab a land. Probably won't play it. Draw. May or may not play it. Black might be hard. We haven't gotten a ton. We haven't gotten almost any fixing lands. Oh, look at this Lightning Bolt. I love that. It's beautiful. I think our best bet is the Blood Crypt, although a Theomancer is pretty sweet because we can really use the sacrifice there. We actually have a number of good lands here. Now that I kind of start in the middle and scan back and forth. Fatal Push, solid removal. Nightpack Ambusher. Good chance to get a few wolves going here. Anthem for wolves. I mean, you can never really go wrong with Lightning Bolt or a land. I know Riku said Treasure Map usually wasn't great in this cube. This is tough. You know, I'm going to grab a Theomancer. I know... Oh, here we go. This is perfect. So we can use this, I think, to sack the snake that we make every turn. Fetch land is solid as well. Pernicious Deed is good. Bedevil's good, but hard to cast. I mean, I don't think there's any reason not to grab this fella right here and just be sacrificing stuff over and over and over. So we just need to make sure we can make lots of things, like with a Biogenic Ooze, maybe. Although Taiga, I don't think I can pass an OG duel for any of these, for anything almost. So let's. This is another sack outlet, but we're not gonna run short on those. Pack Rat, excellent. Another way to make more creatures. Pain Land is good for fixing. We can make a 2/2 zombie every turn and just keep sacrificing it. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of this. And I normally would probably take lands, but in this draft environment online, there's a decent chance that it will just... You never know what's going to wheel. Weird stuff wheels. I'll grab this land too, then I feel like I'm doing my job. Drafting my lands. Bring a card back to the top of your library. Carney fits in any deck in this cube. Just easily fits in any deck, so that might be the move. I don't see anything else that like calls to me. As far as like, I mean, I guess bringing back a creature is solid because we'll be sacking them. That could be a thing. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, another sack outlet just for itself. K command is always versatile. Strong card in general. We could juke into Storm. Just kidding. Fuck Storm. Especially in cube. Let's grab this. I mean, just being able to sack it at will be nice. 2-man lands in 2 different colors. Sulfuric Vortex is solid. It's just gonna burn us down. I don't think we're in that mode right now. I could take a man land. I mean, worst case, you're gonna be short. We're gonna be short on creatures. All right, here we go. So we got some lands that we're wheeling. Oh, I forgot about. Oh, this is exile. This isn't. This won't trigger everything. Certain things won't trigger because we're not sacking them. We're exiling. So we could do this. I mean, you sack it. Worst case, you sack it for 0, just as an outlet, I guess. And if we're gonna get enough triggers by destroying enough creatures, that could be a thing. Could be a thing. This is neat too with the flashback. Actually, you know what? The draw land, that's the better move. That's the better move. I know I spent all this time talking about a card and then I grabbed something else. I don't want to be discarding, but I don't mind having something I can reach at will. Mentor, haste, Sulfur Springs, right? I mean, that's the move. The Dragon Lord isn't necessarily going to fit our deck per se. Another sacrifice outlet, which we love. I don't see us playing that, but hey, why not? And then same thing here. I don't know that Throne's going to make the final cut, but why not? Karn is ridiculous. Metamorphose is basically free value, but really is a storm card. We have ways to sacrifice foods. We've got a temple, which I'm a fan of. We've got this is an automatic, this would die, it would make a token that we will then later sacrifice, which again, if we have something like Judith going, or Mayhem Devil or whatever, we're just gonna keep burning. This won't trigger off the token, it'll trigger off the Phoenix. And then we could also just go for straight up solid removal, which I think I'm going to do right now. Just get the bread going. More ways to sacrifice. This Garruk is incredibly powerful. I don't know if it's as good in this cube, but in the arena cube, it was absolutely out of control. It was just an absolute disaster. Every time it hit the battlefield, the game was basically over. Let's look at our curve real quick. Yeah, we have nothing in 5 and a little bit in 6. So I'm actually tempted to grab Bontu. Even as good as Garruk would be, Anthony, our creatures, isn't necessarily our top plan because we just may not have that many if we keep our board kind of rotating, let's say. City of Brass is solid. The Cutthroat is another effect that we like. Badlands is good too, though, those OG duels, because we do have Judith, Mayhem Devil, and Fireblade Artist already as far as triggering off of sacrifice. Those are our, like, celebrant effects. Could grab the Temple. I think I just grabbed the Badlands. We're a little tight on lands anyway, and the OGs are solid. Another way to sack a permanent. Some good removal. The Swamp Maker. A lot of reanimation stuff. Could just grab a 6-mana Walker. I kind of like Disfigure, actually. Disfigure or Ultimate Price. Ultimate Price is better. Slightly less conditional. Some pretty good stuff in here. Nice to see Faithless Looting. Nothing like super sacky for us, I don't think, but we could grab the Beanstalk Giants, just solid. I mean, we don't really need the ramp. We have a pretty tight high end as it is. In fact, another 6-drop or something like that might be the better move. We're doing okay in 3s. It's really 4, 5, and 6 that we need more than anything. I don't think Experimental Frenzy does us any good. I guess we don't have a ton of instant sorceries, but getting a few 1/1 tokens might be fine, just as ways, stuff to kill, stuff to sacrifice. Young Peasy, is that the move, I guess? I don't know. Spyglass might be fine, but I'm going to try this out. The other Garruk, you tell me. Some more good removal. Oh, you know what? More death triggers. Keep our cards coming, because we are going to need cards. I mean, we're going to kill off all our creatures and end up nothing in hand, nothing on the board. So we do have to be careful with that. Look at this. Wildfire and Burning in the same pack. It's like a big fuck you from this draft. This is another death trigger, so I don't hate that. It's that or a land. We're doing a lot better on our lands now. We've got 9, and I think 2 of them are not fixing. And I could see cutting the Manland if we... Manland's probably fine here. Could also just grab 4 damage. Probably won't cast that. Tangaroa might be okay. Let's grab the land anyway. I'm just not feeling that Thrynax, even though it's a death trigger. Talisman. Languish might be okay as just a reset in case the board is not going our way. But we do want stuff to die, so that's not a terrible idea. We'll see. Might cut it. Skin Render's a solid 4 as well. Again, we're light on 4s, and just being able to kill an X3 is beautiful. So I think I like that. Surveilling is obviously powerful at will. This is a weird pseudo-languish. I mean, we're light on 5s, so let's grab that. The Cutthroat Wield, so we're lucky there. Let's get a hold of that. Could always grab Vraska. She does sack. That could be fine. That Viscera Seer, I forget what that does. That might have been a miss there. Let's grab the Worm. I don't think we'll play it, but we'll see. The Phoenix doesn't necessarily do anything for us. Let's grab the Temple, and we get the Thrynax after all. Okay, let's build this real quick, add a few lands, and move on to our second draft. So what do we want to cut that we know? I don't think we need Young Peasy. This is generic. I think I remember liking... Nope, that's not... doesn't meet our needs. Draw is good. We might be okay leaving that out. Let's see where we end up towards the end. I don't think we need Domri per se. And Sweltering Suns I'm torn on, but let's leave it for now. These are all value or on plan. Thrun is not on plan. These are probably fine. Worm is not on plan. That's not on plan. Okay, so we need to make 3 cuts. We are super heavy on 2, so I think that's where we're going to start. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 solid removal options, so I think we have non-artifact. There are a lot of multicolor cards in here, so I'm going to cut that one because Assassin's Trophy is super unconditional. Abrupt Decay is pretty good. I think we'll just go ahead and not Sweltering Suns. I don't think that's going to give us value. We want to be able to sack like in their end step, stuff like that. Let's cut the castle. That's not a... We still need one more actual card cut. 3, 2, and 2 is fine for the curve. I could cut the Thrynax. I wasn't like crazy wild about that. I think I like everything else. I mean, tons of ways to sack creatures and then tons of way to get payoff for that. This would be the only, I guess the Reclaimer can go. That's not really what we're about. And the castle can stay. All these other lands can stay. I don't see any problem with those lands. So I will add the basic lands later. For now, I can always come back and edit it. For now, let's get into draft number 2. See if we can be on a roll. I should start doing sealed as part of it. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. All right, well, crazy stuff here. Damnation. Play stuff from the graveyard. Questing Beast, incredibly powerful. Temple, Sarkhan again. A OG duel, which is a pretty high premium there. I'm pretty tempted to grab the duel just because we know we're going to play. I mean, we're just going to play 3 colors. Like, the likelihood we don't is pretty low. I'm tempted on the Sarkhan too, just because I kind of did like a Super Friends thing earlier, and I like the idea of that. Oh boy. The other... I mean, Questing Beast would be the third and final option just because that thing is an absolute beating. Let's grab the Bayou. That feels the most open. If any of those things that we just looked at wheel, you know, we'll do that. Could grab Nissa. It's pretty powerful, making a land into a 5/5 and bringing stuff back in the graveyard. Solid removal, ultimate price again. Karn, we could try and get into a bit of an artifact thing. But I don't know if that's really, like, looking at this list. Could also grab this and see if we can squeak into red. Get like the mono red thing going. I know it's a very powerful deck when it comes together. If we're going to do that, we can definitely Faithlessly loot. Karizev is perfectly fine, as is Risk Factor, and that means we can oh, but Pack Rat? Can we pass Pack Rat? I don't think I'm conditioned to pass Pack Rat. And I mean, this, you only need a few mountains to really have it pay off. And stuff like this counts as a mountain. So I'm going to grab Pack Rat. That is too good to pass up. Oh, and then, but mono red. And this is the thing, is signaling is so hard in these because A, they're bots, but B, it's a cube. Like, who knows what's in here? Jeez. I like the red. A 1-mana 1/1, but it's going to get counters. And I don't think I know this. Each creature without flying. Artifacts. Super weird. Effects is 8 or more, make an 8/8 red lizard. That's crazy. I mean, we could just stick more red-black. Try to cut green, and that way we just have a more likelihood of getting the red, and we know fixing will come around. And if we do that, we can easily like duress or disfigure, or I mean, this is solid too. This is a good card. Let's grab that. That's solid. So Shockland for black-red, that's good. And guess what? It's a mountain. So that is solid. Let's grab that. More mountain triggers. Phyrexian Arena, let's get some card advantage. Drawing every turn or so is good. It's a weird, like, counterspelly thing. Closest thing we're going to get without blue, right? This is black and red. Actually, let's grab that. Non-creature spell, which I do have a few of, but that's not, like, intentional, I don't think. Could make ourselves the Monarch. That's not the worst thing in the world. Let's grab that. I don't think we're going to get into, like, spells or anything, but it's there. 1 mana 2/1. I mean, that's just a thing. Or, you know what? Let's bolster our lands. And this is black-red, so let's grab that. Crater Maker is solid in any deck. More red triggers. Let's do that, and we won't play that. Let's see how much red we can do. Maybe we're just red splashing black. I would be totally fine with that. Just like throw Pack Rat in, because Pack Rat is such an easy, like, you just win by playing it, you know? And if we're just splashing like Pack Rat in Arena just to keep things up, I don't think we have to go like mono red, but I think we could do like a solid red deck. I mean, I said that and then I started looking and realized Lily the Last Hope is here. But she's kind of a thing. So Rift Bolt or the Phoenix? I think the Phoenix is better. I did learn last time that creatures definitely are the thing you need here. Some red ramp. And the Titan is always solid. That is pretty solid because that's just gonna throw some burn around. Someone should alter this to be Tafiti from Moana. I have children. Let's grab that as our top end. Mana 1/1 with some burn options in there. Oh, Glorybringer. Yep. Yep. Again, Wildfire and Burning in the same freaking pack. What is that about? Jeez. This is pretty solid with the Battle Cry. And then the Garrison, I think, both go together. Like, this is going to make the tokens. So let's get... If I only get one, I think I want the tokens more right now. Young PZ, more going wide there. These finales are always so-so to me. Copying them is neat, but I just don't think we're going to get up there on mana. Ooh, nice. Terminate is definitely worth splashing into black for. Vortex is pretty solid because we're going to try to be ahead. These are all really good. Splash for K-Command. Hellrider also, I know from very sad experience, gets affected by Torbran. So even if you're not attacking with black creatures, he'll still trigger and still be affected by Torbran. So it'll be 2 more on top of that. And I think it's 2 more for each attacking creature. Like, it triggers on each creature, basically, if I remember correctly. 3 mana 3/2 could be fine here. When it's paired, both creatures have haste. So that's kind of cool, because that'll drop... like, anything that drops after this can get haste if you want it to. The Phoenix again. This is now more on point. The flying haste and attacking every turn. We're going to be attacking every turn, basically, is the plan here. Free Rummage. X is equal to the amount of life you pay. Oh, this might be fine. I think I want to see the Oracle text on that before I am sure I play it, but that might actually be just fine in this kind of deck. Like, if we can just get a few life ahead, and then when we drop that, is it any? It's any target, right? Any number of target. Oh, it's just creatures. It's just creatures. I knew there was something I was missing about that. I was like, what? This might be cool. I've seen this come down when you go wide enough, and that can actually be like really shocking. Grab this for the Anthem effect. 1 mana 2/1. I don't know if we want to spot. Oh, this Wield. So let's grab that. And then we'll grab the Finale, but we're not going to use it. Terminate, sure. And Reunion, sure. So far, I do not dislike where we're headed with this. This is more artifact-y. Oh, the other Pyro. So that's not as good for sure. Miracle 2. Discard, draw 7. That's crazy. I think probably the Renown creature is the best option here. Oh, no, the Rabblemaster. The Rabblemaster. Yep. Always the Rabblemaster. The way I scan these packs isn't good. I need to learn to, like, just look one at a time. Frostodon, I don't think we're super worried about life gain. We're going to cast a lot of those spells. And I think 2 for 3 is not ideal. But it'll be just fine if we don't see Chain Lightning or Bolt. Yawgmoth's very powerful. I don't know what we would need to make that deck work. To make this deck work. The Frenzy. But I'll grab it. The Banneret's fine. Oh, the Swift Spear is pretty good. 1-2 haste. Prowess. We do have some spells. The Mentor on that could be nice as well, though. Swift Spear is 1 mana, right? We've got decent... we have no 1 mana plays. So let's start... yeah, because we have some spells. Let's start with her. Let's start with this creature here. Another Rabble-y type effect. Flashback Shock. Yeah, when I passed this last draft, that was a mistake. So I'd rather have more creatures. We're really aiming to go wide here. We might be pretty close to mono red. I mean, I say that and then get a pack with almost no good like red in it. This could be fine just for the tempo. Just play 1 red and then draw a card and get 2 mana and just drop a 2-drop. I mean, it's actually just a waste of space really in this deck. So I'll grab that. I don't know. That might be fine for this deck actually. This is solid in red. We don't mind discarding a extra land or something. The Kenra is absolutely in this deck. This Wield, so I'll happily take that. I could see the Ferocidon being fine. Maybe we don't need it. Literally nothing red. This could be a fine Anthem. I don't think we're going to splash into green. We didn't really grab any green fixing. We'll grab the Banneret. Happily. Not going to play that, but we'll grab it. Yep. And we're just going to grab those last few cards that we can't pass. Okay. So let's get this off-color stuff out. I'm not going to splash black unless it's like absolutely critical. That's probably more cute than anything else. We don't need that. Not going to pull the Arena just yet, but I will pull these. And like I said, I'm not positive we want Frenzy, but I'm not going to pull it just yet. We want the Shrine. We don't need the green land. Sad. Pull the black. I will splash a tiny bit of black for Pack Rat, for Terminate, and then possibly for Arena or Bedevil. I don't... Phyrexian Arena is the kind of thing that this deck will really thrive on, but getting black on turn 3 might be too much to ask. But let's see. Let's look first. I don't anticipate casting a ton of spells, because the other thing is with Catharic Reunion, like I don't mind that for draw. We definitely don't want that. I don't like that card. We can loot. That would be fine. That'll be a good way to burn off some lands if we need to. I think the Swift Spear is okay. Even though we're not going to cast a ton of spells. So maybe that's fine to get rid of. Bedevil might also be like too ambitious. I don't know. A 3/3 Menace is fine. I don't know. Well, this will burn though. But we're going to cast a lot of creatures. So I don't think I want that. We have some good Rabble-y effects. We don't need this. That's spells. Torben we keep for sure. We keep both of those for sure. I'm going to cut Frenzy because like I said, I just don't know if that does the trick here. Giving everything haste is nice. I mean, I guess we could also, we're at 25. I could just cut like the last couple kind of like hard black cards and just keep like Terminate as a splash. These both are only cost life to come in untapped. It's not like we have any tap lands, like not truly. So I'm not super worried about that. And Pack Rat is just powerful, like being able to just turn your cards into another rat. But we also might empty our hand really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it, even though I love that card. And then I actually think with this curve, we're okay with 24. So I'm just going to do 16 lands because Again, none of them are coming in tapped, and we have a decent amount of like cheap filtering, like that. And with the arena, which I will leave in for now, that could be cut or sideboarded out if it's, you know, bad. But I think this will be fine. So we did the mono red thing. We'll do some playtesting and report back. So Riku and I jumped on to playtest on Cockatrice. Mulligan away the first opening hand for not enough lands. Force to the bottom, Raging Ravine. Stomping around tapped. We do the land go dance a couple times. He drops Sylvan Caryatid. And I respond with a Flesh Carver. He drops Garruk and uses it to blow up my Flesh Carver. Possibly a mistake, because I turn my 2-2 into a 2-2. Following turn, I drop Steve. And I kill Garruk with my Horror. He drops a Questing Beast. Yikes. I throw Steve in the way and he does his thing. Chump blocks and gets a land at the same time. Gotta love it. I follow up with Liliana and we both sacrifice 2 creatures. Best way to just clear the board up. He goes looking for a land with Edge of Autumn and plays a Death Toucher. Next turn I make a zombie. Drop the Grave Titan. Make a bunch of zombies. He rolls the dice with Knight's Whisper, but unfortunately comes up short, and that's GG's. But don't you worry, game 2 is where my luck and my skill run out. He mulls to 5, I keep 7. Forest into Birds, pretty good opening. Castle tapped, because why not? Follows up the Birds with another Knight's Whisper, roll the dice. I have a Steve again, get him out there. He passes with 4 open mana. I'm stupid enough to attack. Flashes in Nightpack Ambusher. Ruff. I toss Steve into a land, because of course. And I go for the throat on the Ambusher. Turnabout's fair play, puppy dog. He plunks down Ruin Raider, and I develop my board a bit with Fireblade Artist and the Flesh Carver again. Uses the Hydra as a fight spell, kills off the Flesh Carver, getting me the Horror. There goes my sack outlet, so I drop Vraska and murder the Hydra right back. Zenith for 5, Questing Beast, coming in on Vraska. Go ahead and trade to deny the raid trigger mostly, and give up Vraska to Questing Beast. Bantu takes a Forest and the Artist, hoping to draw. I get a bunch of lands. Woohoo! Garruk again, this time he gets into Wolves. Questing Beast for 4, I decline to block. Makes another wolf. The pattern continues. The beatings will continue until morale improves. I trophy the beast, which does improve my morale. Inquisition, so I toss the Abrupt Decay on a wolf. I go back to trying to develop my board and create some sacrifice value with the Blood Throne. Get in to try to trim down these wolves. Bantu with the Menace. Decay in return. This is the problem with drafting on Cube Cobra. Double block, gets rid of the birds. That makes sense. He's got plenty of lands. I drop Skin Render, get rid of yet another wolf. These things just keep coming. It's almost like there's a pack of them. Swing in again. Once again, the double block. He activates Garruk, getting rid of the Skin Render. And we're down to just Bantu on the board. And his end step, I go ahead and cycle off Edge, sacking a Forest. Only get the Crater Maker, which isn't great. Another land. Gets me a Scry, land to the bottom. This is the floodiest, jundiest game I've ever played. I get in for 5. Go ahead and drop the Crater Maker. He drops the Rex Sage. I get in. We trade. He takes 5. At this point, it feels like I'm getting back on top. I'm at 6 life. I've been activating the castle to draw cards. And then he zeniths for 5. And guess what? It's squirrel time. I spent a little while trying to sort out the math and figure out if there was a way to survive. The only way to do it was to swing and hope that they would come back at me and I could get some triggers off Zulaport to survive. But it doesn't work out. He doesn't take the bait. He goes to 3, smacks me with all the squirrels. GG's. Well, that game felt longer than my first marriage. Third game isn't going to go much better. We both keep 7. Lots of land go. Once again, the Caryatid. This time I have Ophiomancer. Excellent card. Make a snake. Hydra to kill it. I edge and play a forest for turn, holding up Abrupt Decay. Edge as well. Zenith again. Hex Drinker. I'm too stupid to decay in the end step. I'm trying to be cheeky, play the Blood Throne and Vraska. Again, decline to kill the Hex Drinker with Vraska, rather sacking a land trying to get more value so I can get my sacrifice engine going. He levels up the Hex Drinker. Well, I didn't bother with the back and forth because having protection from everything means that was a game-losing mistake on my part, letting him get that Hex Drinker leveled up. It's a card I don't play with very often. That's my excuse. I am sticking to it. Also, just a quick note that the reason we did not play a second match was because we both had mono red decks as our other draft, so it just didn't seem worth it. We wanted to play the interesting decks. And either way, I think that we got some pretty good playtesting out of this. The Gen Cube was incredibly fun to draft and play. Riku and I had some really lively conversation before we got into the gameplay, and I will be releasing that at some point as bonus content, the uncut playtesting from this as well as from our other sample drafts. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it with a friend. If you hated it, share it with an enemy. I appreciate it either way. Stay tuned for some more sample drafts as well as some live builds coming up in the very near future. If you'd like to have your cube featured in a sample draft, please go ahead and get up in my DMs. You can find me on Twitter. You can comment below. Everything's in the show notes. In the meantime, please stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.